Good morning, everyone.
Hey, coach, should I get rolling? Alyssa?
I think we're gonna go to Coach really fast for a brief opening statement, and
Okay,
then we'll go dive into questions. Bruce, you can have
y-
the first question.
you got it.
Cool.
Yeah, just to save everybody time, I have no idea who's going to be on here or not, but obviously, a lot of people seem to be asking about Logan, understandably so. Essentially, Logan at the end of the Loyola game was expressing some discomfort. Came out of the game. We put Teddy Dolan in. Logan didn't finish. So what typically happens in that situation, if someone does get hurt, he meets with the training staff Sunday, Monday. We start looking at, do we need to get him to a doctor? Do we need to get tests done? And so essentially over the last 3 days, that's what we've been doing. To be honest, it's kind of what we do with anybody that gets injured. We've had some guys in that situation, off and on all year. Right now, he's getting evaluated, getting tests done. Personally, I have not met with any of the doctors. Obviously, with any young guy, we're going to be super thorough and make sure he's okay. I'm not going to put him in harm's way. We'll probably know more. I'm hoping I can meet with them and meet with Logan and our trainer maybe today, tomorrow. We'll know more on Saturday. I'll have a much better picture of what are we looking at. It's just hard in 72 hours to get everything scheduled, get the feedback that you need, and make sure it's accurate, and make sure you get all the opinions, whether it's a second opinion, whatever. But I will have more for you on Saturday, and I'll kind of give you the my 2 cents, and I'll give you the real deal. Just to be honest with you, I think everybody deserves that. Much like Kaufman, when we confirmed he tore his ACL, like we gave you that. So once I get all of that and I meet with the doctors and their family, obviously I'll have more for you. But concerning for sure, just like anybody. But if it is something that's significant, we'll go to obviously somebody else on the roster, and it'll be next man up, just like the situation with Eric Maliver and obviously with Josh and anybody else that's been injured. So I just want to make sure I kind of address that. I really want to avoid like hypotheticals, like what about this? What if this happens? Because those are just hypotheticals. There were some conspiracy theories of, was Logan injured in the preseason or in the fall, and that's not correct. I'm not sure where that came from, but they're going into that game, there wasn't an injury or anything like that, just so you know, and just being honest with everybody. And like any other time around here, we got a roster full of guys. So if Logan can't go, we got confidence in the next time or next guy, and we'll make sure that they're ready. Somebody goes down in Saturday's game, we'll put somebody else in, and we'll do our best to get them ready. And then we'll just kind of move forward on Syracuse. Obviously, if people want to get more into the weeds on Saturday, I'm happy to do that, because I'll definitely have a lot more info and give you all I got.
Okay, coach, you've given you've given me, I guess, some of the reporters here some hope on Logan. I mean, there's so many things spurring out there. I thought it was, definite that he was out, and even inside, I think the Sun papers reported it, and it's amazing how stories come to a conclusion when they're not. But I hope to heck that he's can play. But moving on to what happened last week, uh, I watched the game twice afterwards, and it seemed to me the biggest problem in that game, besides the turnovers, I mean the turnovers stuck out, all right, was just the shooting. All right. Now we give us a lot of credit to the goalie, but it seemed uncharacteristically a shooting percentage that they had. Do you look at it the same way, or was it strictly the goalie performance by the kid Stout?
Um, I would say it was a lot of things. I always give credit to the team we play, because, like you have to. So, give credit to Loyola, the goalie, the defense, everybody involved. I think all in all, obviously, right, you don't win a game. If we don't win, it's always the coach's fault. It's just how it is. Like, my job is to get them ready. We don't play well, I didn't do what I needed to do to get them ready. I would tell you, and again, being honest, like it was not a great week of us, a practice for us. So that is something that, we've tried to really focus on, is having a better week of practice. I will echo what I said on Saturday. I think we have a great group of young men. Again, the performers are great performers. We're thankful to have the guys we have in the locker room. The performance on Saturday, not our best. And obviously I'm in charge of getting our guys ready, whether it's the way we shoot, the way we play offense, the way we play defense, the way we ride and clear. So I have to kind of look back and look and say, how have I prepared our guys and do a better job? Obviously a lot of new parts and a lot of guys in new roles. I think in certain cases, Bruce, like, maybe shot selection, shot placement, maybe some guys trying to do too much. Maybe some guys maybe tried to do too little. And just trying to kind of get back and look at it and kind of, talk to our guys, look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And even if we won that game, we would look at it the same way. Like, all right, to be better, which is really what this part of the year is all about. Like, what did we do well and what can we build on? And then what can we improve upon? But I think Luke Stout was great. We had heard great things about him in the preseason in terms of how he's playing. Again, we can't see those games, but, through the grapevine, you just hear, random things, and knowing what he was like at high school. I just know he was a really good high school goalie, and Charlie does a great job with goalies. So that makes a lot of sense.
Tony?
Coach, in the post game, we talked to Coach Toomey about their strategy in how they approached you all. So I'm curious as to how you're thinking through helping your players now. It seemed like on your defensive end, they pretty much avoided Brett, John, and Ajax, and kind of went after the other newer pieces. So how do you support those other pieces? And then on your offensive end, it looked like they pretty much were daring you all to win matchups from behind the goal. And so how do you help support those guys now?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's something that we'll start with, and all good points, Tony. I mean, if I'm playing us, that's a strategy I would use. Like Ajax and Brett are kind of well-known guys. So, you kind of look and go, what's the path of least resistance? Where are the more experienced parts? And knowing that we do play a system and we are systematic. Our guys are trained, and again, Jesse, who does a great job with our defense, played in the same system, and, you have to be good on the ball, but you have to be good off the ball. And normally when we give up a goal, there's a number of things that happen. And we want to make sure we're supporting guys. So it starts with good fundamentals, good on-ball play, good approaches, good communication, making sure that we're aware of, the players that are out there. Kind of, we talk about, kind of KYP, know your personnel. So, it's knowing, what the other team's trying to do, what are the strengths of the guy with the ball. So I think some of our guys, we look at the week before, and I felt like Logan bailed us out a lot against Richmond. And we had some breakdowns there, but again, we're playing good teams. So we realize that they're going to put you in stressful situations. So just got to be better. I think hopefully as we go along, some of our guys, the game will slow down a little bit. We'll just get better with not only our individual technique, but also our schemes, and helping supporting guys. So I think that will happen. I think our guys will get better. I think the level of competition isn't going to change. So we better get better. And I'm confident our kids will put the time in. I know they and the coaches are really prideful. So we're going to keep working at things. I think on the other end, you kind of look at the group. There are some new pieces down there. So that is something that, we've kind of talked to our guys about. We have to walk that fine line of, we need to be aggressive. We need to win some matchups, but we can't get tunnel vision when we do that. And we also can't have the ball die. So it is kind of a careful balance that you're looking for. You want guys to be aggressive, but there is in your head a little bit of a clock of, okay, the ball can't die with you. And I think at times, like, the ball did die, which is really not how we've tried to play offense. We try to keep the ball moving and then, look to create some opportunities as we catch the ball, make our decisions quickly, attack off ball. I just felt like at times we were maybe in each other's way, or we were just not kind of executing at the level we want, like whether it was silly turnover, and give them credit. We really felt like their defensive group was a big strength for them. You have two returning guys that are veteran guys, that one's a 6-year guy, one's a 5th-year guy down at close. And the short sticks we thought were going to be good. They were very good last year. Obviously one of them, was trying out for the USA team. So you're talking about a really good group, a group that you're going to have to work to get some leverage. So for us, again, same thing. We're going to go back and work on individual technique. We'll look at personnel. We'll look at our schemes, because we just have to be better. Obviously 7 goals isn't going to be good enough. Our shooting percentage wasn't going to be good enough. And that's all stuff we're going to keep working on. And regardless of how it goes Saturday, like, we'll go back to work on that again on Monday. Cause I think at this time of year, like, in February, it's still stuff you got to just keep working at, regardless of how the week before goes. Because each day is an opportunity to get better at it.
Judith?
Okay. What have you guys done in practice this week to kind of clean up the turnovers issue?
Yeah. And again, I think that's something that, we've seen in practice. So it's something that we're harping on. Obviously, part of that goes to what we're doing in practice, whether it's fundamentals, making sure we're fundamentally sound, we're throwing the right way. I think away from us, the guys, the sticks, making sure that you have confidence in your stick work. That comes from, I think, doing a little bit more on our own, but also making sure, your sticks are throwing the way that they want. So, like even, today and tomorrow we're getting some rain, but Saturday looks sunny. So even, with that weather, you're going to play with a wet stick potentially today and tomorrow, but then you're going to play with a dry stick on Saturday. So those are all things that players really, in my opinion, need to be in tune with, and how that's going to affect you, because you have to be able to adapt and play in all positions. So I think the repetitions, the fundamentals, putting that extra work in, making good decisions. And then for us, getting as many reps, and really making the guys play as fast as possible, but also trying to make sure that they're not rushing things, but they're playing fast.
Got time for a few more. I'll go to Brandon.
Hey, Coach, kind of building off that last question, is there any kind of added pressure with Ajax, with Brett, knowing that you said earlier that McNaney kind of bailed you out with the Richmond game, and then after the performance last week, you're facing a tough Syracuse offense. Is there any added extra pressure for your two kind of leaders on the defensive end to really right the ship?
I wouldn't say pressure. I think those guys are prideful guys that are leaders for us. So I think in a very good way and a complimentary way, I think they want to take on the responsibility of the leaders, and they want to take on that leadership and kind of make sure that, hey, like, that's our end. We're going to kind of be, the mother hens down here, and just make sure that, the way we're playing, since I have all this experience, I'm going to help make sure that all the parts are working as well together. And that's what you hope, whether it's offense or defense. The guys that have been there, are you positively influencing the guys around you? Because that's what the best do in any sport, right? Like, you don't just score on offense. You're making sure that the younger guys, you're instilling confidence, you're giving them direction. Like when you come off the field, you're giving them guidance. When you're sitting in film, you're kind of giving them some pointers. When you're not in, you're helping them. So I do think those guys, they're prideful. They've been on the other side of it where other guys have helped them. So I think they feel a responsibility to kind of make sure that they pay it forward.
Go to Joe.
John, this is Joe Puccio from WAER Sports up in Syracuse. When watching the Orange on film, what jumps out to you the most?
I think they're very skilled on offense. They do a great job. They have very talented players. They are very, very, very skilled. They play schemes that play to their strengths. I think you can see Gary's influence with the skill and the schemes. But just looking at them, they share the ball. They're very dangerous. They're dangerous with the ball. They're dangerous without the ball. I think they've kind of looked at their parts and the schemes they run really fit their parts very, very well. And there's a box influence because of the personnel that they have, which is super smart on their part, because I think it allows some of the guys that have played a lot of box to kind of use a lot of the background that they have to their advantage. And for guys that are defending them that haven't played a lot of box, it's a little bit of a kind of a learning process. So I think they've done a great job there. I think defensively, Coach Petramel has done a great job with that defense. They are very organized. They all seem to be on the same page. So they are very buttoned up. They're doing a really good job of kind of forcing the shots I think that they want to give up, and they're getting great goalie play.
We'll go to Colin and then wrap up with Matt.
Hey, Coach. So kind of an unusual start to the season for you guys, now sitting at 1-1. And I was just wondering how the players have kind of responded to the early adversity.
Yeah, I think for, sometimes I think Brett mentioned it in there. I've been doing this a long time, so I've had, all types of starts to the season. But Brett mentioned it in that press conference. Just talking to the guys this week, and I don't think about this a lot, but they made a good point, for the guys that are juniors. I think that was the second game they've lost. And for the seniors, I think going into that game, they'd only lost 2, which is, I just hadn't really thought about that. I don't really think about that a whole lot. So for them, it's a little bit of a unique feeling, but like, for me, having done this a long time, you could lose any week. And it's really about, how to respond to it. To me, that's the value of this whole thing, or one of them that you want to learn is sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't, but it's how you respond. Or when things aren't going well, how do you respond? Because these kids are all going to graduate and go on to a world, as all of us know, that sometimes a little unfair, unpredictable, and volatile. And you got to be able to handle all those things. So we really try to, in any of these situations, just make sure they realize this is just a microcosm of what they're going to face down the road. And how you handle it is everything. Just being resilient, sticking together, just kind of getting up off the mat and getting ready to attack the next day, and responding well. And those are things that, as coaches, I think all of us feel like if we don't instill those things in them, we're failing them. So that's really, for us, kind of back to work. We're very businesslike, and we're very kind of consistent on, what Monday is. We'll look at the goods, the bads, the improvement, and then we just go back at it. And whether we won the last game or we lost the last game really can't change your approach. You got to really look at how much better can you get? What can we do to have the best week of practice? And then what can we do to put the best team on the field Saturday to execute at a high level? We obviously fell short on that, but again, give Loyola credit. Now it's important for the coaches and the leaders to make sure that we're doing everything we can to put the best team on the field Saturday, and make sure for 60 minutes we're playing the best version of ourselves. It's not going to be perfect, but we got to make sure that we come ready to play, because this is a terrific team that we're playing. You watch the first 3 games, that they're excellent. And it's a little bit of an underdog mentality for us, which probably is good for us right now.
Matt.
Hey, John. Sorry, I'm calling you from my phone here, from my car here. But with Teddy, he's a guy that obviously his brother was a Terp. How did that come about that he was able to join you guys, and what did you see from him in his career at Binghamton?
Yeah, we really had 3 goalies returning, so we felt like a 4th guy was going to be important. And then, with the transfer portal, you kind of have the opportunity to kind of look at certain positions and go, would you like to get some experience at a certain spot? And we try to be transparent, Matt, with everybody. The good news is everybody can watch us on TV. And if you're a guy that's potentially a transfer guy, like, you're going to see who's playing. So we obviously knew about Teddy because of Dan, who was with us for 3 years, and a guy we absolutely love. We love he and his family, just a great people. Dan was such a good teammate, and I thought he did a good job for us in 2019, and played well enough for us to have a really good year. So with Teddy, Teddy kind of had used his eligibility and then was looking to get an extra degree. We are one of the schools out there that I think offer a 1-year business master's. There are a number of different ways you can kind of go, whether it's, a finance or a business administration, supply chain management, whatever it may be. So for some of the guys that have an extra year, I think it is kind of an attractive spot because you can really get that degree in 12 months. So, Teddy was a guy who put himself in there. We did reach out to him. And his familiarity, I think his family's familiarity, I think he was very excited about, the options here. He obviously knew Logan was here. We weren't going to hide that from him. He could watch any game and see. And then it was a matter of, for Teddy, like, do you think you can beat him out? And if you do, great. If you don't beat him out, what's your disposition going to be? We always make everybody earn it each year here. It's just how we believe they should be. We feel like in a job, if you have a really good year, and you're a salesman and you have a great, you do a great year with your numbers, the next year your boss is going to be like, all right, well, you got to do it again. So it sounds, like from the outside, people, are like, well, Logan started. You're right. He did have a good year, but competition makes you better. And if anybody kind of comes back and thinks they're owed anything, I just think that's not a good life lesson. So, I think Logan kind of knew Teddy was coming in. I think we're very lucky. Our goalie room is terrific. Those guys are all very competitive. But they're very supportive, and that's not easy, because everybody wants to be the guy. And I'd be disappointed if those guys didn't look at it that way. But also, like, you want those guys to feel like, okay, I want to be the guy, but I'm not looking to bring somebody else down so I can become the guy. I'm going to be the best version of me. And if it's not me, it's still about our team. And that's hard, Matt. It just is. And I totally get it, because you want those competitive guys. And sometimes, like when you're not playing, there's always that, well, coach isn't giving me a shot or whatever it may be. And that just hasn't been the case with anybody in that group. So again, I'm very thankful for that, because I know that's not always easy to do. And having Teddy, there's obviously a lot of film on him. He's seen a lot of lacrosse. So I think there's a lot of comfort with the fact that you have some experience there if Logan can't go. And then we'll just go from there. Like I said, kind of circling back, I'll get with the doctors. I just haven't had chance to meet with the doctors yet. Like typically you have to schedule those things, then those things happen and then you get with them. So I'm sure like today and tomorrow, I'm going to have a lot more information. I'll have a lot more for you guys. I'll give you everything I got on Saturday. I've been dealing with, I kind of hurt my back as well this week. So I'm dealing with that in the cold. So everybody's a little dinged up around here. No rest for the weary. But again, like I said, I'll have a lot more for you. And again, just, I haven't had that time. But obviously everybody saw the end of that game and everybody knows that, he didn't finish the game, that we're not running from that. And then when I get everything conclusive, we'll have that, but you can draw a lot of conclusions. Some of the misinformation of a previous injury certainly was not true. But it's obviously something significant enough that we're looking at it. So within 48 hours, much like Mahomes in the Super Bowl and the playoffs, right? He hurt his ankle. He's either playing or not playing. Logan's either playing or not playing on Saturday. And in 48 hours, you'll know a lot more.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.